So why should Christians care about history? First, Christianity is intrinsically historical. Our faith is rooted in historical events, namely the incarnation and the death and resurrection of our Lord. Our creeds, such as the Nicene Creed, give an account of God's mighty works in history. As such, we might speak of two histories. First, the history of man, and second, the history of God. That is, God working in the midst of history. And the history of man, as we shall see, only has meaning in relationship to the history of God. Within this context, the single most important event in human history is the incarnation, that is, the eternal Son of God, becoming man and taking on our human nature. It is through the revelation of God in the flesh that the purpose of humanity is revealed and the history of man takes on meaning. Without the incarnation, human history has no purpose or meaning. Rather, humanity stumbles forward with no purpose or meaning, lost in sin. Jesus Christ is the Alpha and the Omega, the prototype and the destination, the beginning and end of history. Jesus' humanity reveals who we as humans are called to be as human and brings meaning to the whole of human history, even including the nature and purpose of time. As we read in Ephesians, see then that you walk circumspectly, not as fools but as wise, redeeming the time. So should Christians be concerned with their history? Absolutely. History for Christians is nothing less than the mighty saving works of God in the midst of His creation that are witnessed to through the Old Testament, through the New Testament, and up to the present day. And just as God commanded Joshua to have the high priest place stones of remembrance next to the Jordan to remember the mighty acts of God holding back the Jordan, so also we must remember the mighty acts of God in every generation, from the time of the resurrection up to our present time, in order to be strengthened and remember that we worship the triune God who loves mankind.